You don't know me, but you've been inside me, and that's why we're here today. I wrote this book because the world can be harsh and terrible and often unforgiving. I wrote because there were times I did not feel like living. I wrote because the court system is slow as a snail and victims are forced to spend so much time fighting. My name is Chanel Miller, and I am the author of Know My Name. In January of 2015, I would attend a fraternity party at Stanford where I would be sexually assaulted. I was taken to the hospital in an ambulance in order to get the rape kit done. 10 days later, I would find out on the news that I had been found unconscious behind a dumpster, half naked, with my assailant on top of me. He was then chased away by 2 Swedish graduate students who tackled him and pinned him to the ground. Because of what they did, I was able to press charges, and I would undergo a year and a half of fighting in the criminal justice system, testifying multiple times in order to get a guilty verdict. The issue is that so often we are afraid to come out with our stories because we know that as soon as we lay them out on the table, they will be attacked and will be pushed away back into the corner and to learn shame over time. If we could finally believe that if we were to share our story, it would be listened to and taken care of, then you'd have a lot more people being able to speak freely and leave the shame behind. But living is an incredible thing. Just to have been here, to have felt, if only briefly, the volume and depth of others' empathy. I wrote, most of all, to tell you I have seen how good the world could be. Weinstein was convicted of being guilty. That being said, over 80 women had to come forward in order for us to start believing them. That is too many. We need to live in a world where one story is enough to be believed. We shouldn't have to back up a victim with dozens and dozens of other voices in order for her to be taken seriously. When I was being cross-examined in trial, it felt like the defense attorney had his hand on top of my head and was holding me underwater. I was never able to surface, to breathe, to speak a full sentence without being interrupted or hearing an objection. In the book, I finally had the freedom to write without someone trying to squish me down. I could talk about self-doubt, which I was never able to exhibit on the stand. I was able to talk about anger, which I could never show in court because then I would be accused of appearing defensive. I could talk about crying. I could talk about violent fantasies. Anything that made me human, the full spectrum of emotion, including humor, is in the book. And the least anyone can do is bear witness. Maybe these are the uncomfortable truths of our time, but instead of turning away from these stories, we must look at them and see that it's not just a story of assault. I'm a person, and assault is just part of my story.